My name is Allen Sabet. I run Mogotes Metals. We're a copper gold exploration company exploring in the Vicuña district, which is where very large discoveries have been made. The biggest copper discovery of the last 30 years is next to us and adjoins our property. It's called Filo del Sol, and we're hoping to find another big one we're going to drill in the next couple of months.
And I could see you. We've not met before in person, so
No.
especially welcome to see you. Hey, we're here at Beaver Creek. We're you're going back to back with meetings, and so are we actually. There's a lot of people here. Yes. Are they the right people though?
There are the right people, and we're seeing an influx of generalist money into the sector as well. Yeah. Everyone is quite keen in investing and getting exposure to gold and copper, which is what we do, so we're happy for that.
And that's an interesting point you make. It's a lot of new money coming in. It's a different type of money as well, we're seeing.
Greener.
Nice.
In many ways, so this is money that is seeing the price of gold going up to $3,500 an ounce. They're understanding the debase of the US currency, and at the same time they understand the supply-demand dynamics around copper. So these two thematics I think are very strong, and I've met a couple of general investors already, generalists who have $7 billion, $8 billion portfolios that are allocating now to junior mining. Yeah. Junior mining can't take that kind of money without good price uplift, so we're seeing a lot of momentum.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talk about greener money. Sometimes wet behind the ears is another phrase. Because they're big funds, but they're learning. They're learning about this space, which they've kind of avoided for the past few years. So you're educating them?
Well, I'm trying. The thing is, it's a very much, there's a lot of things that we can do as junior mining companies, but a lot of the ups and downs in prices are driven by commodity price. And the second one a lot of people don't know is the inflows into the funds, the inflows and outflows into the funds and the ETFs. So when the money flows in, it has to trickle through to all of the exposures, through all the names, through all the companies. So a lot of the big movements are not actually, what management is doing or what companies are doing there. And so we're seeing all the right trends in the pricing, in the inflows, and am I teaching them what to do? Not so much. I think they're finding us because they're looking, we're looking for copper. Where's the biggest copper discoveries? And they're like, okay, this looks like a good company. They're right next to it. And I think that's the kind of thing that...
Yeah, and I think the really interesting comment I got out of this was from one group who raised some money in the market. Generalist fund had come in. They just wanted into the copper thematic. When asked, would you like to go through the presentation? The answer was no. I just want to, and it was a sizable chunk of money, and we're talking nearly $10 million off the back of a thematic rather than specific. So I think you're spot on. Look, here to talk about you, what I'd love to kind of get into in this conversation is really kind of the setup for success, right? And by that I mean, what are the things you've kind of got to get right and put in place to maybe improve chances of success going down the line? Obviously, location would be the first one you'd look to. So tell us about that.
Yes, I mean, look, we're looking for copper and gold. When you're looking for copper and gold, you're looking for something big. Big mining companies want tier one assets. That's hundreds of thousands of tons production per annum of copper, or hundreds of thousands of dollars of ounces of gold equivalent per annum profile. That's something massive. You don't find those every day. And where you find them, the acorn doesn't fall from the oak tree is the saying a lot of people say. And so we're looking for copper and gold in the place where two $4.5 billion discoveries have been made. Our next door neighbor, Filo del Sol, and actually the one north of that.
That's BHP and Lundin.
BHP and Lundin.
New people.
That's right, the biggest mining company in the world, and one of their peers who's also not a small player. And then if you just go a little bit north of that, the next neighbor is actually worth $4.5 billion Canadian as well. And so we're not in a moose pasture. We're actually in probably the best endowed place. In the last 30 years, there's no other place with better copper discoveries than where we are. Vicuña district.
Vicuña district. Yeah. Okay.
So that's where we are.
So that's the right thing. So remind me how you picked that up again.
How did you
pick up the land package? Because if it's so prospective, I think you'd have thought lots of people have been chasing it, right?
Well, its prospectivity is also down to the work that we've done. So we've done some very systematic and modern exploration work and spent around 20 million Canadian dollars over the last 3 years of real grinding and hard work to get to the stage where we've identified really attractive, untested in most part, drill targets. But if you rewind back 3 years, the land package was fragmented across multiple companies, and it took us significant effort to kind of do the deals it takes to put these all together, and then do the groundwork to prove up, not that there's a deposit, but that they're very prospective targets, and we want to go and see which ones will end up becoming a discovery.
Okay, well, you give me all the clues, the lead ups. Cash, you spent $20 million, but you also, the Treasury today is equally good. So
Almost 26 million, yeah.
Right, okay, with a market cap of?
107 million.
Right, so nice leverage there. Talk about the money you spent. What did you spend it on precisely? Because you've done a lot of technical work.
Absolutely, yeah.
But done much drilling?
We did a little bit of drilling,
yeah.
But still, when we inherited this property, it was, as I said, we've assembled a large kind of land package. The first piece of that property was in Argentina, and it had some historic drilling dating back to 2012 and 13. We went and re-looked at all that drill core, reanalyzed it all, re-logged it, did TerraSpec analysis on it, resubmitted it for multi-element analysis. And we were able to kind of take a step back and say, look, they had drilled some places, but they've not sampled the whole property. They've not done geophysics on the whole property. They've not systematically looked at the whole property, knowing that there's a potentially, multi-billion-dollar deposit to be found lurking beneath.
Yeah.
So we started that work. So we kind of took it as if we're starting from scratch, and we did an extensive sampling program. This is basically a mountain range, and so it's many, many months, 5-6 months of work for teams of guys with 4x4 vehicles walking across mountains to do that first pass, soil sampling grid, rock chip sampling. We had to put in 60 kilometers of new tracks into the property to reach all the kind of furthest extents of it. Yeah. Bring in some really professional geophysical providers, the cutting edge technology that models up electrical properties, chargeability and resistivity in 3D. Yep. And this is really cutting edge stuff. So that's the kind of work that we've done. And all of that together with really smart geologists who have worked at the neighboring deposits, who understand the geology and are able to map the surface geology, where we see geology, geochemistry, and geophysical anomalies together, that's a target.
Right. Now, as you say, you're next door to couple of multi-billion-dollar companies, yes. And so the size of the opportunity is in no doubt. But there's probably some learnings for you in terms of how you kind of get to that point. And I'd love you to kind of explain to me sort of what you think those steps are and how far up those steps you go. Because it's a lot of money, big balance sheets required, right? Yeah.
As with all things, it's step by step, and we've done that so far.
Yeah.
Steps, assemble land package, systematic, low-cost exploration work at the surface. The next step is obviously drilling, but even in the drilling, we're leveraging a lot of information that has helped discoveries at the adjacent properties. So we're able to look at what geophysical technologies were effective, what numbers even in the geophysical responses are significant, what geology, the neighboring deposits have. There's been papers written on Filo del Sol, and we've been able to engage the people that were involved in those papers to also help us with the geology. So we're kind of, we've taken a discovery timeline that was 20 plus years for our neighbors, and we're trying to compress that down. And we've really, I think, done a good job in the first 3 years. And now from the drilling, we're going to learn a lot. There's we're not quite that well known, but you can't know that much from the surface. There's a lot of work that needs to be done once you're now getting into the 3D with the drill core, and we're going to learn a lot from this drill campaign.
So, I mean, obviously the type of drilling that you're talking about is sort of pretty deep hole type stuff. This stuff goes down a ways. I mean, so again, what do you know about the type of drilling you're going to have to do, and obviously the cost of that? Again, looking to your neighbours for info on that.
Well, there's a few key things. One is we're going to do core drilling, diamond core drilling. We need to be able to see the rock. We want to do a number of different analyses on it, magnetic and alteration type analyses. But is it deep? That varies by target for us. Right. One of the important things is the elevation of our property. We're right next to Filo del Sol, so biggest copper deposit. Then you've got this kind of slope going up. So we start at 4,200 meters elevation, and towards the top of our property gets to 5,200, which is where Filo del Sol is at. What that means is we're able to attack a number of these targets from a lower relative level of elevation. And in the Andes, a number of the deposits occur at similar relative levels of elevation. So we're actually below, topographically, where our peers were at, which means that we have access to targets that are shallower.
Right.
Okay, so that's one key.
Yeah.
The type of terrain you're drilling through dictates the speed at which you drill, which dictates the cost of the drilling. And we don't have a silica cap, which is very difficult material to drill through. They had to contend with that at Filo, and that means we're drilling faster, so it's lower cost. But basically, we're drilling, depths of 800 meters plus. We're drilling diamond core, and we're going to be able to, I think, hit the targets. They're much closer to surface than potentially you're imagining. Yeah. Tops of our targets are from anywhere from 300 meters to like 7 600 meters.
Okay. And look, in this market, obviously gold, copper, silver, critical minerals on the top of everyone's agenda and list of things to go hunting for. Are you able to, with the work that you've done, sort of work out not just where to focus in terms of targeting of the drilling, but which metals are you getting after? Gold's obviously going on a run. Copper's it's staying steady, I would say, price-wise. So how do you go back to selecting it on a metals basis rather than a specific target?
We'll take the answer in exploration is we'll take whatever we get. But
okay.
in this project, there's two broad categories of deposit. We've got your high sulfidation epithermal, and that's gold, silver, and you got your porphyry copper deposit style, and that's generally copper, gold, moly.
Right.
Okay, so we actually have targets on both of those models.
Because you've got Los Mogotes.
That's, yes.
And what's the second one called?
Well, there's Los Mogotes at the bottom of the valley. That's a porphyry target. And
Yeah.
on flanking it, we've got Meseta.
Yeah, it was slightly different setup, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you going after first? I mean, which one are you?
Well, after this, I'm actually heading to Argentina for a week to work with the technical team on the final. We all have our ideas and our favorite babies on which one we want to drill first, but we're going to determine that in the coming weeks.
Okay.
But generally, because of logistics, we start at the low altitude and work our way up. So, because of you don't want to start clearing snow off the top of a mountain when you can start at the bottom.
For sure.
So,
for sure.
The point is, we're going to address a number of our targets. A lot of them are going to be for the very first time seeing a drill hole in the history of mankind. So
it's the expensive bit of all of this, right? You've done it. Acquiring it, obviously, that's the first stage. Trying to work out using technology to work out what it is that you guys obviously you've done that, but it's less expensive than the drilling. So who on the team's going to setting this up and working on that sort of targeting for you?
Well, just remember we've worked here already 3 full field seasons, so we have a very experienced team. On the ground, including a country manager, 5 or 6 geologists, 5 or 6 technicians. They know the terrain like the back of their hands. We've got a VP of exploration and a technical advisor, Stephen Nano, who I think you may have met. We've been working closely together for 3 years. So it's a collaborative process, driven by the technical leads of the team. And to your point on this is the expensive part, it's true, but I mentioned 60 kilometers of tracks that we've put in. I mentioned a camp that we've purchased most of it. And that means that drilling is a matter of kind of a fork off of our main tracks and a small platform.
Right.
And we've done a lot of work on procurement to get the best possible drilling contractors involved who've had experience drilling deep holes at our neighboring deposits.
Right.
And because the capacity, funnily enough, that they've just scaled up capacity significantly for the neighboring deposits, and it seems like the drill campaigns there have reduced. We're getting good pricing.
I'm always so interested.
Not too much detail for you.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, in fact, if you want detail, we can go detail. But I'm thinking more about the kind of show me the money bit, right? So we've talked about maybe being able to learn off of the others around you who have achieved success, or so in terms of valuation.
Yeah.
And then kind of looking into the market, and maybe in the last 3-4 years where exploration hasn't necessarily been rewarded. It might be the right thing to do, but it hasn't been rewarded. How do you feel about today's market? Come on, you're an ex-market guy, you know these things, where you're looking at a market where gold producers being rewarded, even near-term gold developers being rewarded. Exploration hasn't cascaded down yet. So again, you got to play the market stuff, and you've got to see people telling you, well, this is the right way to do things. So how do you balance that decision making?
Well, you're right. In the last few years, drilling hasn't been rewarded. It's been a way to kind of reduce your overall success in the market. In those years, we took the approach of working on deliberating, putting together a really comprehensive data package for us to drill. But I think the tides have turned here. Certainly the interest that we're seeing here at this conference is a sign of it. So
okay, well, that's good feedback. So what are they asking you? What are they concerned about? What are they liking?
Well, we're situated next to some pretty big discoveries, so everyone wants to see some drilling.
Right.
So
is that what people are focusing on and saying, like, well, you're in the shadow of, you're near this neurology coming into play? Is that
the less sophisticated guys? They look at it and they say, look, you're next to it, but okay,
a bit more to it than that. Yeah.
But then the more sophisticated guys start peeling through the presentation, and they're pleasantly surprised by the volume of high quality targeting data that we've got.
Cool.
And they really pay attention. And I'm not saying this lightly, but I would guess that all maybe of the mining companies that you would have heard of have spoken to us or are speaking to us at some point.
Oh, I bet.
So there is technical merit, and you don't even need to be a genius to say, look, there's discoveries in this district, and these guys have a huge chunk of it. Okay, so it's up to kind of Mother Nature the show me the money part is if we drill and hit, and it's not a guarantee, it's exploration, it's risky. So what we've done to reduce the risk is to do this systematic work, which, it's readily available in our press releases.
Yeah, well, you've got some great 3D fly-through type stuff, which people should go onto your website and look at for sure. But again, I want to stick with this kind of who you're trying to impress thing, because I know what the industry guys want to see. They want to see a nice, systematic, rigorous process.
Sure, yeah.
And which, you should do. But it doesn't necessarily translate into retail buying, because they're going to want a whole bunch of other things from you. Yeah. And that's what I mean, that delicate dance that one has to do sometimes. But maybe it doesn't matter in this market. Maybe everything's going to work.
Well, I don't know who's your follower base, but I'm assuming there's a number of the retail types mixed with the mining professionals. So you have to speak in a way that kind of can be readily understood by your less sophisticated investors. But of course, you want them to understand the risk-reward profile. Yeah. And then you have the sophisticated people who really, they know what they're doing, and they know that it's not easy to make a big copper discovery. No. So when an opportunity like this affords itself, and it's the right timing, both in the market and in the company's development, that's where we find ourselves. The market wave has turned. It's very attractive.
For sure.
And the property is at the stage where we've assembled it all and it's drill ready, and we're going to drill. So from my perspective, this is the best time to get involved. I'll be saying that a lot in the coming months to raise awareness with retail investors and to raise interest. Yeah. But it really is the best time.
Well, let me ask this the same question in a different way.
Okay, maybe I'm missing what you're asking. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a difficult one, because there's like stuff you can say and stuff that is a bit forward-looking maybe you can't say. But let me ask it a different way. I'm looking at the value of your company, given the land package you picked up and where it is and the prospectivity of it all. And I think it's pretty darn good. I like what I see. I don't think the market's rewarded you for that yet. What do you think they will reward you for in terms of what you can spend money on and what you can control?
I think the market, there's two things it will reward us, three things it could reward an exploration company for, broadly speaking, that I've seen. Yeah. One is good deal, good property package, an acquisition. That's the catalyst. Yeah. Two is a drill hole with a big interval of copper gold, copper equivalent. Yeah. Or smoke that suggests a big system that we're vectoring into. Yeah. Yeah. Three is actually doing what you said you would do and working to the plan that you said. So we have taken some time to get here, and I think a lot of your speculator types are just waiting to see are they going to drill it? The answer is yes, and I think that's going to generate a lot.
And you've got the money to do it.
We've got the money to do it. Yeah. And I think the other thing that sits across all of these is awareness. We've been around, only listed for just over a year, and despite I'm always on the road. I'm always talking to investors. I'm always at these conferences. There's still a lot of people who haven't heard about us, and so I think that will generate a lot of interest too once the name gets out there and people understand what we're doing. For sure. I think you're right on that one. So I suppose you're obviously doing this conference, but you're heading back presumably. I'm intrigued as to what next and what's the timing around that one, because we're going to drill. Okay.
When?
No, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to Argentina this weekend. We're going to do a workshop with our team. Decide on kind of hole depth and locations. We have 3 years of data to kind of reassess. It's always good to start again in the blank slate and make sure you've not missed something. There's no bias, and they're expensive holes, and each one of them is a discovery opportunity.
That's what I'm getting to. Are you contracting those out presumably, or have you got your own drill team?
No, absolutely contracted out. This is a thing that's specialized.
Especially, well, that's the point. You're using drill bits down holes and all sorts of horrific things if you're learning for the first time. So these are teams used to drilling in the region.
Absolutely, have drilled
this style.
Yes. Okay. At altitude to depth. Those are the two main things we want to see that they can do, and high recoveries as well. They don't want to lose a hole and you've spent like $600,000 and they've lost it. Yeah. So we've selected on technical and also on financial. And the third thing is obviously environmental and safety, which is important as well. So that's all done. It's really just about final touches on where we're drilling. We have our plan, but we're going to final touch it, and then it's weather conditional, but we should in the middle of October be up there and starting. Yeah, could push to November, but I think the middle of October.
Okay, but seasonality. Yeah. So in terms of like getting assays back from. First up, will you drill multiple holes and then do the assays, or will you come report hole by hole?
We're batching, but it's not. I think at least the minimum by the time one hole is completed, that's in the lab already, because we want to get a steady stream of meters results. Yes. Yeah. Whether we report that hole by hole is not
Yeah.
likely to be the case. I think we're likely to, collect a series of results and then release. That we don't want to put out, whether good or bad, something that skews the perception of the whole project based
Yeah.
off of a very small window.
Yeah.
These projects are not going to be, live or die on one drilling season. It's likely that multiple seasons of work are required, but we hope to advance the project and, if we're lucky, make a discovery first go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, given some of the conversations and the inbound that you're getting, would you looking to kind of JV on this?
Not at this time.
You think you're finding access to capital reasonably good?
We've found the access to the capital, and the market has now turned. Obviously, in the last 3 years, it was harder.
Yeah.
But we have a very kind of persistent team that have been working on this.
I know. Very good. Well, like, I'm talking about which, you better get out there and sell.
Sure.
And, good to see you, man. Really good to meet
Likewise,
you
yeah.
face to face. And
Thanks for having me.
nice project. I do like it. And let's stay in touch, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks,
Okay, cheers.
Matt.
Thanks.